All right, welcome. Today we are looking at how we can use bar models to solve ratio problems. You don't necessarily have to use a bar model, but I just kind of want to show and highlight how we can use these bar models or tape diagrams to help show our thinking and make it visual as we reason through some of these problems. To start, we're looking at the problem. Ash and Yakum went out for lunch and shared a meal. Since Ash ate more, he paid 3/5 of the $30 bill, and Yakum paid the rest. We want to know how much did each person pay. To start, I want to look at what's kind of the key information here. So we know that they are sharing it in a ratio of 3/5, and that they paid had a $30 bill. Now, when they say he paid 3/5 of the $30 bill, that's going to be a part to whole ratio. So I know all the parts have to end up being 5. And to show that with my bar model, I'm going to start out by just drawing a bar that's cut into 5 equal parts. In this case, Ash is paying 3 out of the 5. So I'm going to go ahead and label that to show. And Yakum is paying the rest, so he's going to end up paying 2 of the parts. Since the total bill is $30, I know that this entire bar has to represent $30. Since the $30 is split into 5 pieces, I can look at this and take 30 divided by 5 because 30 was our total bill. And there are 5 parts that make up our total. So when I do 30 divided by 5, that ends up equaling 6. So what that means is each of these parts is equivalent to them paying $6. So now, since Ash paid 3 parts, his section is going to be 3 times 6, or $18 that he paid, and Yakum took care of 2 parts for a total of $12. So Ash paid 18 and Yakum paid 12. So let's look at another problem. So Sid, Audrey, and Maya went shopping. Sid borrowed money from both to pay for her new clothes. Later that week, she took all of her money out of her savings. She kept 1/5 for herself and paid back Audrey and Maya with the rest in a ratio of 1:3. If she paid Audrey $120, how much money did Sid have in her savings originally? So once again, I'm going to kind of look at what are those key pieces. So we know that Sid, Audrey, and Maya are sharing money. We have a ratio of 1/5, and then we also have a ratio of 1:3, and we know that Audrey was given $120. As I'm looking through this, I want to kind of think of how am I going to model this? So I want to model it with Sid's total savings. So I'm going to draw a box. And this box is going to represent Sid's total savings. Okay? Now, it said that Sid kept 1/5 for herself. So that means her total savings is going to be cut into 5 parts. Okay? And she's going to keep 1/5. So this is going to be the part that Sid keeps. At this point, we then look at this ratio of 1:3. Because it's talking about Audrey and Maya, that 1:3 ratio is going to be a part-to-part ratio. And since it's part-to-part, it's telling us how many parts each person gets. So Audrey is going to get 1 part, and Maya is going to get the other 3 parts. So now all of our parts are accounted for, and we know that this whole box still accounts for Sid's total savings. The next part of the problem says Audrey got $120. So now I know that Audrey's part is 120. Well, since this has to all represent equivalent parts or equivalent pieces because of the ratio, I now know each part is worth $120. question is, how much money did Sid have in her savings originally? So we're going to look at, in her savings, each part was $120. Her savings was split into 5 parts, so we would do 120 times 5, and that ends up equaling $600 that Sid had in her savings. I encourage you to try this next problem on your own first, and then watch the video and kind of see how you do. So try to think about the process that we've been using and see how you would use that. Here we have Caden and Antone finding a lost dog and returning it for a reward. They shared the reward in a ratio of 3 to 5 since Antone had purchased some food for the dog while they had it. So if we look at this, we're listed in a ratio of Caden to Antone. So Caden is going to be the first number and Antone's going to be the second number. And then we also have that further explanation that Antone's going to get more because he purchased some food for the dog, right? We know that Antone took home $80 more than Caden, and we want to figure out the total reward. I could still set this up as a big block, but what I'm going to do here, since this is a part-to-part ratio, I'm going to show Caden's part and Antone's part separately. It's a 3 to 5 ratio, so Caden's block is going to be split into 3. Antone's getting a bigger block because he got more money. His is split into 5. The reason that I like this particular model for these type of problems is for what it was telling us here that happens. It says Antone took home $80 more than Caden. When we look at our model this way, we can see very distinctly these extra parts that Antone had. In this case, that represents the extra money that he had, or the more money he had that Caden did not. So these parts are worth the $80 that Antone earned. So since it was 80, we're going to divide this by 2 because there's 2 parts. So each part is worth $40, which makes all the rest of these worth $40. And so the question was, what is the total reward? So each part is worth $40. There's 3 parts for Caden, or we could kind of figure this out, that Caden ends up making or earning 120. 5 parts for Antone, which gives him $200. So we could do it this way and find out their individual and add it up for a total of $320, or $40 per part, and there are 8 total parts, which would also be $320 for the total reward.